All right, let's keep up the joking around because it's definitely something to continue and enjoy, but we have to make the most of these remaining hours so that things can turn around for the better. The tables, but in any case, if we lose against Bayern, they'll say, look at you guys. Hey, don't compare the two. Don't compare the two. Losing against this Bayern is not the same as Atletico de Madrid being your nemesis in the Champions League, right? When I said this on X, which is incredible, when I said this on X, everyone, now I'm coming to you guys, the Albacete, I mean, I'm talking about nemesis, about a team that has knocked you out of the Champions League every time, and that's Atletico. For Barca, no less than 3 times. That's amazing. And whoever says otherwise, right? And Bayern with you guys, sorry about the last knockouts. You know how things turned out. It's actually the other way around, isn't it? It's true that there was a time when Bayern was kind of our nemesis, but hey, we turned that around. Therefore, and now we're talking about the Madrid match. Until tonight, let's laugh at whatever there is to laugh about. And hey, then maybe the laughter and the joy will multiply by some unknown factor. Or, well, hey, the season ends on April 15th. It's just incredible what we're facing. But anyway, I'll start with this image of Minya Marbo, which of course I didn't talk about yesterday. And it's this guy's obsession por tiktokearlo todo, no? With the image of the aura, no? I talked about this is obsession, boy. But I start with this image of Minya Marbo. Of course, not him. It's absolutely incomparable, the fact of putting in that obsession, boy. Yamal with damn, Zidane, Ronaldo Nazario. With some reservations and all, but Messi himself, of course, Cristiano. I mean, but are we stupid? Stupid. I mean, you saw Zidane, you saw those greats from history who had already earned it. And you say this guy has an aura just for sitting on the ball. But what nonsense is this? There's an account called Colazo from CBS where Henry, Mika, Richards, and all those guys work. And it says mine now needs to be, no, this, the aura of Yamal needs to be studied. But what are you saying? But this really needs to be studied. The thing is, there's an obsession with that, right? By turning everything he does into social media content, and as long as he's more focused on this than on other things, well, he'll keep getting knocked out in the Champions League, for example, right? Doesn't this mean it could happen to you later? But come on, you expose yourself, for example, it all starts at Barca itself. You expose yourself, for example, to having this done to you, right? Aura, huh? When he came with the glasses and everything the day before, right? And then you say, excuse me, Laura. This one was really good. I wasn't going to bring it up the other day because, well, but man, honestly, in the end, she really earns it, man. And she's already 18, okay? So nobody come telling me this, that, and the other. All right? And listen, one very important thing, a very important thing. And now I'll talk about what this moment meant as well, because it was absolutely ridiculous. But one very important thing. This doesn't mean that the kid isn't a great player for me. And by now, after saying this, 2,000 people have probably left. I don't care. It's just absurd. Let's not be like them. Let's not be like them. Weren't they like that with Vinicius? No, Vinicius is worthless. 2 Champions Leagues, 2 goals in the finals. And you'll say, no, Lamine Yamal hasn't done that yet. He hasn't done it yet. And I hope he never does. But there's something here that's incredible. And it's how, if you know a little about football, you understand that even if the kid is more focused on other things, and fortunately, and that's why I think in a way, I mean, he could improve his performance if this wasn't the case. But man, to say he's worthless, come on, please. Another thing is, look, he doesn't show up in the big games. He's still only 18 years old. Yes, he is. He's going to be an adult and all that. But damn, this guy playing since he was 15 did some amazing things in the game yesterday. And he's the center of attention for the opposing team. That's what I'm telling you. So if he doesn't go astray, which is also likely because of the environment he's in, this can only get better for him. If he doesn't go astray, and if he doesn't keep focusing on things that aren't football, it's absurd to deny reality. What you have to do is say, well, okay, Madrid doesn't need it because they didn't need it with Messi. It's absurd. Trying to manufacture a foil, an anti-Messi back then, an anti-Yamal now, not at all. Because also, even though it happened naturally for us, we obviously signed him, but we have that in Cristiano. Madrid is much bigger than all of that. But you do have to think that these guys have this guy and they're winning leagues against us, man. Then they go out onto the European stage and it's very different because they don't forgive, and the referees naturally don't give them that kind of protection, right? Which is something that does happen in Spain. We all saw the numbers yesterday and in the morning video, those amazing things like in the last 3 years, Barca has had 6 players sent off in Europe with far fewer games played than in La Liga, where they haven't had a single player sent off. What was that stat again? I want to say it right, just in case I mess it up. In case I mess up, what was that stat again? Give me a second, I'll look it up. I had it around here. Marketo Larry mentioned it. Here it is. Red cards for Barcelona defenders in the Champions League in the last 3 seasons. Yes. From 2023 to 2026. 6 in the case of Barca in Europe, and red cards for defenders in La Liga in the last 3 seasons. 0, man. 0. Defenders, man. Defenders. It's incredible. Other players have been sent off too, but I'm talking about defenders. When a player gets past you and you have to stop him. In Europe, you don't get forgiven for that. And in La Liga, they keep letting them get away with it. But anyway, about this image of Lamine Yamal, it's just that at that moment, do you remember what was happening right then? At that moment, Fermin was bleeding like a pig. I'm not going to show the images of Fermin bleeding because, the other day, they limited the monetization of the video where I showed it. Damn it. TV doesn't show it to us, and then YouTube limits you. It's a really crazy thing about YouTube, but oh well. You can't show it to anyone under 18 and so on. But do you remember how much Fermin was bleeding, right? It was intense, huh? I got really scared there. I heard an Argentine today use the term gushing blood. Wow, I hadn't heard that before. It's graphic. The blood was spurting out. Intense and terrible. I hope the kid's face is all right. Even though it's Fermin, obviously there can't be any bias here. I hope he's okay. Absolutely, right? At that moment, instead of worrying about your teammate, are you looking for him? Photo, it's just that still. And after that corner comes Atleti's goal, Lugman's goal. It's incredible. It's all incredible. Just like what's happening with Gavi. Unbelievable. Gavi said very arrogantly, no, we deserve to win, and so on. I don't know. Pay attention to the phrase he said to, I think it was Tease Sports. Check this out.
14 shots on target, 2 goals for Atletico, 4 shots on target, 3 goals. I'm mentioning this because you told me they feel they're better, but the ball just doesn't. Look at this.
Maybe they have a bit more experience in these matches. Experience also matters.
What experience do you mean? Atleti has more experience in these matches than you.
I think today we completely dominated the whole match. That's how it is. But, well, in the end, they get one chance. They score, they get a goal, and
we totally dominated them, man.
And that's where the tie is decided, and you could be out.
Then he says this is about scoring goals and all that. We totally dominated them. Do you think that losing, making a fool of ourselves again in the Champions League, one more year, 12 seasons in a row, can you really say we totally dominated them? A team that has beaten you in 2 knockout rounds in less than 2 months, has beaten you in both knockout rounds, in all 4 matches, And here I'm the last person to praise Atleti, but they've beaten you in both knockout rounds, man, in all 4 matches. What are you talking about? You totally dominated them. What is that? It's embarrassing. Also, Gavi was seen the other day calling Pera Mila an idiot and similar things on video. On Movistar, right? Look, they were reading Gavi's lips here. What they didn't do with Gavi was imitate his accent or give him a funny voice on Movistar. They should do it since they mock Vinicius for his accent and voice, so Gavi should get the same treatment. But they don't, just because one is Brazilian and the other is Spanish from Andalusia. No, because everyone has their little things we can laugh about, but what a coincidence. They always make fun of the same people, right? Anyway, besides, seriously, they're just fired up. I mean, Gavi is so fired up, man. It's something that, man, it's unpleasant. I'll tell you something else too, okay? It's demonic. I don't like it, but if they were on our team, I'd also tell you something. I'll tell you something else too. We're the first Madrid fans who like it when the players are in demon mode. I mean, that hatred they have for us, for Madrid, that deep hatred. Many times we demand it from our players, like, damn, they've scored 5 on you. They've won 3 out of 4 leagues, but wake up, man. Don't be like that. And maybe sometimes, even if later they're loudmouths and whatever you want, okay? Because Gavi and Pedri aren't in that group. But Gavi and Fermin are intense. They're all fired up. But there's something about them in that sense that I'm not saying I like, but maybe I'd want it for my team. You get what I mean, right? Well, let's go with the last story. After the match, we'll do a live stream and pray however we can. Let's believe in Madrid, okay? I didn't mention this yesterday, but you already saw it. It's the last shocking plot twist, and I'm going to put it really small because, guys, we're always dealing with the same thing. You all already have the play in your minds, the elbow to Mbappe, Kylian bleeding, and so on. But yesterday, the review time was released. See? They said they wouldn't correct it. No, they'll admit it was a penalty and everything. Watch the balancing act. You've probably heard it already, right? I'll make it really small since La Liga always gives me trouble afterward. Pay attention to the balancing act they do so they don't make the referee and the VAR guy, who are going to be in the cup final, look bad. The mafia is something that, reaches unimaginable limits. Pay attention.
We begin in Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium, where a controversial incident takes place inside the penalty area. After making a cut, the Real Madrid attacker gets past a Girona defender inside the box, and the home player tries to continue the offensive move towards the goal. At that moment, a challenge occurs between both players, where on one hand there is contact from the defender's arm to the forward's face, and almost simultaneously another contact on the attacker's supporting leg.
At least they mention that. Look, the contact on the supporting leg.
This all stems from the play's dynamics and momentum. As a result of this challenge, the attacking player falls to the ground. The referee, correctly positioned and with a direct view of the play, decides to let the game continue. This is a situation in which different possible football interpretations coexist.
They go to such lengths. Look, there's an elbow you missed, the guy is bleeding, but the VAR official either doesn't notice or ignores it.
And they can interpret that the contacts observed are a consequence of the collision between both players and the natural movement after the cut, without seeing a clearly negligent gesture, nor an illegal use of the arm with enough significance to be penalized as a punishable foul. The referee makes a decision based on his own judgment in real time, considering that there is no conclusive evidence to penalize the action and choosing to let play continue.
An elbow to the eyebrow, and there's no conclusive evidence, man.
The CTA considers that the action can be understood as reckless.
Language is everything, so be careful with it. It's important to understand. Euphemisms can be understood. The always tangential way of addressing a topic, of going around it, of beating around the bush, of not acknowledging, of considering it open to interpretation, of,
the defender, an arm that ends up hitting the attacker's face in the play.
An arm that ends up making contact.
In the challenge. The defending player, with his arm extended backward to gain space after the forward cuts inside, recklessly hits the home player's face, creating an obstacle for the attacker, who loses the chance to continue with the ball that is within his reach. Therefore, in the opinion of the CTA, this action could be sanctioned as a penalty. Since this is clearly an interpretative action, clearly interpretative,
and this Alberola guy is right in front of the play and sees the elbow to Mbappe's face.
Since there is no clear, obvious, and manifest error in the decision made by the field referee, the VAR acts correctly by not intervening. According to the VAR protocol, a review is only appropriate when there is indisputable evidence that allows for correcting a clearly wrong decision.
They just leave it. I mean, the VAR was right not to get involved. It's not an obvious mistake. And let's not even talk about the blood. Seeing the guy bleeding and all, and asking upstairs in the VAR, hey, can you review or just inform? As Juanfe said recently on El Chiringuito, is he bleeding? I'll just leave it for the guy upstairs to see. Damn, I'll check again and everything. But no, nothing like that, man. All to save the guy who was getting coaching from Negreira's son and paid him thousands of euros to move up in the refereeing ranks. It's unbelievable, the kind of guy he is. The technical referees cartel was once brilliantly described by Paul Tenorio. Guys, see you later. Madrid, Bayern, Bayern, Real Madrid. No comment. We'll live stream after the match. Stay positive. Hugs to all. Hala Madrid. See you soon. Bye.